Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. This video is going to talk about a couple of different crafting things. I am wearing one of the things that I made. I have my first bandana that I sewed with my vintage Singer sewing machine. I got the sewing machine in December and it's been some time since I've worked with it and was trying to get it to sew. So I was cleaning it and I was getting the discoloration in the bobbin thread. So I was thinking that it would be beneficial to have the sewing machine thoroughly cleaned, and it may have also contributed to why the top stitch thread was breaking. So I brought it to a repair shop and they work on vintage sewing machines and other types of machinery. And I was given a list of things that they would reset and tune up, clean, oil. So um, I received the machine after New Year's, a couple days after New Year's, and I was eager to work with it. I brought it back and I was sewing with it. I was still getting the thread breaking, but I was given these two papers. So, basic but important machine tips. There is one of the notes that I needed to do to make sure that it would sew, and then this one is note, very important threading test tip. I did reference the manual to the sewing machine that I have, and I looked up different videos on threading various vintage Singer sewing machines. The essence was there on how to thread a general sewing machine, vintage sewing machine. So I was going off of different sources, and then the main thing was the last step, because when I was getting when I was trying to sew with it, the needle wouldn't be paced. It would be almost erratic on how it was moving. And when I was able to get it to sew, it was smoother, and the um the needle was being able it was keeping up with what the pedal was doing in a way, because it wasn't trying to move too quickly. So I saw different videos and I saw that they would have their machines to where it would thread left to right. And so that's how I was trying to get mine to thread, and the note here is says specifically right to left. And so when I changed that one thing and it was the very last step, then it started to sew, and I was like over the moon, so ecstatic, because when I see this sewing machine, I just have the feeling of wanting to create all these things, the skirts, corsets, capes, blazers. I do want to do historical sewing and um, so different things that I would like to have in my wardrobe. And um, I sewed this quickly. That's how excited I was because I don't even have pins. Um, I say this all the time. It's in my storage unit, and if I don't go to my storage unit as soon as I can, I'll get more pins. But I was thinking maybe I could just use my bulb markers and gently place them in certain areas and not clasp it and just do all these things. And basically it's like, Adrian, you could just get pins. And so that might be the thing to do because I finally have my sewing machine working, and um, there are some of the different fabrics that they sewed through, and this extra, like the ones that have this, that was when I was trying to get it to sew, and I was getting a couple stitches and then it wouldn't go further than that, it would snap. So it has gone through different fabrics, and I'm I'm just so excited. So the other thing is that I did receive another mention from the knitwear designer Anna Sophia Wintersol, and I test knit the Goose Gazelda hood. So I just wanted to show that I saved this because it would have um, been up for a period of time. So that's I was able to get that, and then she commented on my picture, and it's just heartwarming to see when the knitwear designers see what you knit up and how you interpret it sometimes, because well, all the time, because you might not have the same color scheme or yarn, there might be modifications. I didn't really modify it. I would say one of the things was that based off of the construction and in general, like you tend to knit color work in the round, but um, you're so with the sides of the hood, at some point you'll bind off because the pattern stops, but you still have the extension of the top of the hood, and so that keeps knitting. And instead of knitting on the in the round, I ended up knitting it the color work flat, and you could also stitch in at some point with the rest of the pattern, but that is just another avenue that you could take, or different avenues that you could take to achieve that result. So, um, it's very baby, yeah, because I'm going through the pink color scheme, and super happy with that too. And um, I feel like with as much changes that are coming in that are pretty drastic in the beginning of the year, there's also the balance of the good news coming in too. I did receive a phone call from a technician that I used to work with, and um, she had my back when we were working and also outside of work. Um, it was one of those things, and just appreciate it a lot because um, it was one of those. I don't know if I would say, well, it was again a big change that happened and with the breakup, and then this was a couple of years ago, and then she would stay on the phone with me because sometimes we would, a lot of times that we would have different shifts, and I felt bad because I would call her because I would have the earlier shift sometimes, and she probably was sleeping, but she picked the phone up and she was um calming me down because I didn't want to have like an emotional breakdown before getting into work. And both of our lives changed a lot. And she's buying a house with her family, so that's super exciting. And it's just like one of those things. And she did mention something that, sorry, I don't know if you heard that notification. It's just saying feedback about something. But um, computer feedback, because she's also an air sign, and I just feel like I have a lot of air. I have other signs around me too, but my best friend's an air sign. She's definitely a great friend. She's an air sign, and I was talking about the changes and her take on it, and she like said something that I completely drive with, and she's like, go where the wind takes you. And that's definitely the type of thing that I go by in my life. So it just went with me, and the message just kind of like stuck. So I am happy about that. Um, I also talked to my best friend too. She had sad news because she had to put her one of her cats down, and that was really sad. Like this cat, I like my best friend and I used to live in the same apartment building in New England, and she lives there, and well, so the cat has been there since I was there, and this was a couple of years ago. This was like around 8 years ago, and it was so sudden. Like it was just like such a surprise because neither of us were expecting it to happen. Um, the cat lived a great life, and uh, I'm just like, it was just so surprising. So there was that conversation. I mean, whatever conversation, I'm happy to hear from her, and then I'll be emotionally supportive there too. So this is the beginning of this year. Just a lot going on. I have my knitting projects I've shown. So I'm just going to show the sleeve that I have been that I started recently. And it's just like one of those things that it looks, I've done a couple of garments. This one looks a little different than the other sleeves that I've done for other projects, so I'm really into it. I like the shape of how it's working up, and I probably need to get one more hank of the main color. My storage unit is near that yarn store, and I love going to that yarn store because they have um, a lot of knitting supplies. Like you go to yarn stores, and a lot of times their inventory is different from another yarn store that you go to. So it's kind of particular. This one, they have a lot of needle tips, and it's so convenient because you don't have to, of course, if I want to order them online and support a small shop, then I'll do that. It's also nice going there in person because needle tips, then you'll pay the shipping on top of that, so then you might get a couple of things. But I would get the Knitter's Pride, the Ginger Shorties, and the Chow I did build up my 4-inch tip um, needles, so I got them there gradually, and then I already had my 5-inch Chow needles, and I'm they do have some highs there, so I haven't gotten the high tips there. I'm not sure about the supply. I know that they have it, and it's not the most usual needle brand that is carried. I would say I don't know if it's just the East Coast or just in general that we don't have this brand a lot. Um, but I do like the Hayahayas, and I have been using some of their bamboo tips, and so um, it's nice to have. I so it might be one of those shopping days, but I do want to get more of the Lava Slopey. I did get one skein today because I ran out of the Black Heather, so I did finish, as I mentioned, I finished one of the sleeves. And then this is another cardigan. I got the Black Heather, Lava Slopey, and this is the second sleeve. I do need to get a couple skeins of the blue. I don't feel like I'll be able to get all of the blue because there isn't the full quantity of what the pattern calls for there. So I don't know if the store will replenish by the time I have to house it. And I was also thinking maybe I could take like sewing classes maybe while I'm there. I feel like I'm gonna have to take another college course because that was also one of the things that I was told to do. So um, it'll just be something like with medical things, and it'll be more letters added after my name. So I feel like that's what a lot of, I don't know, that's what my parents strive for, are the letters after your name. So that'll be something. And I'm going to see what's there and with the what I would like to do because honestly, if you're gonna have me go to like a course that I'm really not connecting with, like you might as well just burn the money because I like it might be with my personality, it might be like how that I might be headstrong, but if I don't like what I'm doing, then I just like I won't do it. So, there's just like some physical thing where I just would detest it so much that I end up pushing it away. And that has happened before when I had a list of different things that I had to do, and I ended up going my own way. So hopefully, I end up going, well, I will end up going my own way to that capacity. But um, I am I'm happy that I have been hearing some good news, and then some things to get through. So, um, overall, it's only been for a couple of days into the new year, but it's just another day too. But it's not this um. Well, it's just another way to start the year. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in another video. Bye.